recording. Woo. Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Two Black Girls, Two White Girls, and a Rose.
We're two black-ass girls and two white girls we love invade the whitest show on earth.
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
I'm Natasha.
That was very white.
No timing, not on time.
I am very white.
I'm Natasha.
And I'm Justine.
And I'm Geneva.
I'm Justine, number 2.
Yay! So excited, everybody. We have our friends Geneva and Justine from Escape to Reality, which is an awesome podcast that you guys should all be listening to. Mm-hmm. They are on the line with us, and we're so excited to be here. How are y'all feeling?
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yes. So if you guys don't already know, a couple weeks ago, we were on their podcast on their recap for 90 Day Fiance.
That was so fun.
Such a good time because that show is just trash.
We missed that show already.
Wait, side note, did you guys know that because of the government shutdown, that show has been delayed?
We did,
What?
yeah, we did.
Yes.
Because of the visas and everything, I know.
Yes, because the visas aren't coming through.
Yeah, visas are all delayed.
Their love is being drawn out.
Some things are important.
They're so heartbroken. I know.
Right. Well, we're very excited to have Geneva and Justine here. We have two Justines, so we're going to refer to two black girls, Justine as Justine, and our fellow Justine as JT, so we don't get confused.
Justin Timberlake.
Yes. Super excited to hear you guys' thoughts because you guys recap a lot of different reality shows, but you don't recap The Bachelor. And The Bachelor is its own beast.
Yes. It's literally like, I was thinking about this, like the one reality show I do not watch. Like, of all.
You watch a lot
I
of
kicked the
trash,
habit.
Like, literally. Yeah, so I'm excited. It was good to force myself into it.
So we open up every episode with just our initial thoughts. So Justine, take it away.
So my first note, the dads on this Hometowns episode were phenomenal.
They were pretty good.
They were really good. I have never seen a guy get 2 no's for such realistic reasons. Like, do you have permission to marry my daughter? I don't know you. No.
Yeah.
You know,
They have a brain.
That's true. That is rare. They usually just step in and like, yeah, sure, you can have permission, but not this time around. They were not having it with Colton.
So that always happens. They ask every one of the 4 if they can marry their daughter.
It's so sick.
Yes, that is a tradition on The Bachelor.
It's sick. It's very sick.
Wait, and on The Bachelorette, don't they have the dads at the guys ask the dad? So there's like when 3 dudes asking.
Oh, no. I can't.
Yeah. This is just the tradition. They got to get permission. They got to do the whole, fairy tale, whatever foolishness. True Bachelor form. But yeah, the dads this time did not disappoint.
They did not disappoint, yep. And Colton getting 2 no's, another record from him also having 3 bitches leave voluntarily. So, setting records, Colton, setting records. What about you, Tash? What do you think?
Oh my God. I want to hear from Geneva or JT. What do y'all think?
Okay, I have 3 initial thoughts. One is, there was a line that I feel like summed up the entire Bachelor franchise that just really stuck with me. One of the dads said he can't microwave a relationship, which I just feel like, is this show like tied up in a bow? And it's like, when they were literally like, it's been a good month. I'm like, what the hell, a month? And you guys, it's just like,
you hear yourself.
It blows my mind. My other initial thought, because I haven't watched the show this season at all, is like Colton I think needs to take like a kissing class, like where he kisses like like when you're 5 and they're like, this is what you do, like on an orange or something. Like he needs that. I feel like he literally cannot kiss. It makes me uncomfortable watching him kiss people.
It's so gross hearing it. Yeah,
like it's
it's
like gross. Yeah, like it creeps me out. Those are my thoughts.
That's funny. He doesn't have a lot of experience.
No, well, it's so evident.
Throw him a bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell immediately. JT, what do you think? Initial thoughts?
I loved how when they're all sitting there and they're like in the middle, they all have to go talk each time to their mom and their dad. It's just so awkward and It's just so the whole show is just so unnatural. It just gets
It is.
creepy. I don't know.
It's creepy.
And then when they're looking in the eye of all these dads, and then they know they're gonna lie to them, it's just so nasty. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
crazy. And I wish the show would just be a little less produced and let it be a little more organic.
Yeah. I love your two descriptors though, creepy and unnatural. Like, but so true. Very
It's like they're like at a meal and it's like, Mom, you want to go chat? And they like go into an awkward bedroom. It's like, this is not like in the middle of dinner. No one has eaten. That was also bothering me. No one got to finish a plate.
Yeah, how long are they there for? And how are you feeling about this?
It's
How are you
crazy.
feeling? And I love him so much.
Feelings,
And they have these smiles that I've never had on my face my whole life. It's really wild to see.
Like, this is a new emotion. What is this?
I love him so much.
Oh,
And we're gonna have
God.
kids. I'm 23. I'm ready to have a kid. And, I just graduated college.
Right.
Yeah.
God, don't even get us started on the age. Like, we've literally
So
that's been our whole
young.
thing. My initial thoughts: another week of Colton making zero moves.
None.
Justine and I have to just scrap that whole segment because
so
he hasn't been
sad.
doing shit this whole season. Other thoughts: Colton. I mean, he just looks absolutely ridiculous asking fathers for permission to marry their daughters when he so clearly is not ready for marriage.
No.
It was just like he was like in the bachelor machine, just like going with through the motions and just forcing him to go through this process of asking for a hand in marriage when he looked uncomfortable even asking for permission.
He looks like a pussy.
He did.
Like, just overall.
Just put it on out there.
I'm sorry, but it's like, I would, like, as a father, I can just imagine, like, my dad would, well, my parents would be like, what the hell is happening here? But, like, they would just be, like, laughing, because it's laughable. It's
Very.
It is.
Yeah.
It is 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's an infant.
And
The
who's
girls
the
are even
cameraman
younger.
with the...
It's pretty bad. I think this season more than any, particularly watching the hometowns, this season more than any has made the proposal at the ending just seem like a joke.
So ridiculous.
It just feels dumb. Like, I would say of the four girls who are left, if Colton was like a fully formed adult human who was like truly looking for a wife, which we don't believe he is, but if he was, I would say that Tayshia would be his best choice.
Yeah.
Because she's been through a divorce, she's older, she's not playing any games. I feel like she's mature enough that she can help him grow. But he's so attracted to Cassie, who's like fully playing him
100%.
out. Caelynn.
Yeah, she is.
Caelynn just seems kind of dubious after last week, her motives and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Hannah G looks like a 12-year-old, and I still, to this day, have no idea who she is. We've learned nothing about her.
Yeah, no.
She
not
totally
really.
seems 12. I think Cassie also, like, I just feel like Colton's being such a typical dude by going after the chick that clearly doesn't give two fucks about him. Like, Cassie could care less.
Right.
Is not into him at all, and because she's, like, hot and kind of, like, you know, confident, whatever, he's just gonna trail after her to the end of time. And, like, she has no interest. She doesn't want to get married.
She's fighting with her dad. Oh my
Want
god.
what you can't
Right,
have.
exactly.
Yelling at her dad.
Classic example. But before we get into the recap, we do want to dig into our special guests first. Geneva and Justine. So tell us all about your podcast, Escape to Reality. Do the little plug. What's it about?
Well, let's see. So we started off talking. Well, so we love all things Bravo. So like anything on Bravo, we watch shamelessly. So we do a lot of Bravo recaps. But we've really been diving into the super trash side of reality TV, which has been a joy. So super trash. So 90 Day Fiance and Love After Lockup is our newest
delicious.
obsession, which is
The
great.
best. The best. The best.
It is
And we
incredible.
found a real niche for kind of talking about that kind of stuff. And then obviously we love celeb gossip, and Justine takes us all over the place with her crazy mind with the celeb gossip. So we kind of we
Her
focus
mental
on
illness.
most of those things, and literally probably the only show you'll never hear us talk about is The Bachelor, other than this. So we won't be in
We
your
got it
lane. Don't
covered.
you worry.
No
We
worries.
just don't have enough time in our life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me, or tell the world, like, who is Justine and Geneva? How did y'all meet? How did you decide to do a podcast? Like, what's your vibe? What's your dynamic?
Justine, you tell us.
We met working together at a retirement
Yeah.
planning company for old people, and it was a wild
First job
place to
after
work
college.
in Geneva.
It was
And I would
terrible.
eat
Oh,
lunch
wow.
together every day and just talk each other's ears off. And then we just stayed in touch and would always text each other and call each other. And then one day we decided to start the podcast, and
It's like
that's pretty
you're
much
seen
it.
inside of
Yeah.
our text thread. We essentially just would text each other 24/7 about everything. Like I could text her a code like, did you see the picture of baby blah blah? Like not even put the name. She'd be like, oh yeah, I know exactly. And she knows like the Kardashian baby or like.
Oh, shit.
So we took it.
We're like obsessed
Wow.
with pop
Yeah, and
culture.
just-
So
So you guys are like pop culture historians, the two of
Yes, I would say like if we did Jeopardy, like
Yes.
we did like a celeb Jeopardy together, we would probably win $1 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, Justine's the crazy one. You never know what she's gonna say. And back in our heyday out at the bars,
Geneva's
she's-
crazy. She just hides it better.
Yeah, at the heyday back at the bars, Justine was somebody you'd have to watch, and would get us into a lot of trouble saying vulgar things.
I just
to
cussed
anyone.
I almost cussed an old man out downstairs getting tea
Yes.
just now. So
Oh,
you
God.
never know what
Justine
trouble
doing
I'm
the
gonna
name
get into.
right.
Whoa.
That's right. Yes.
He went up to this girl and told her, he told the poor girl that's setting up the dinner down there, oh, you don't look ugly today. Like you have makeup on.
Mm-mm.
And then I couldn't believe he said that to her. So I go to her, I go, you look pretty every day. I go, I'm going to punch that old man in the face. And then they started.
Oh my
So I don't even know. I thought maybe I heard wrong, but I heard right. It was rude.
Oh my God.
So,
One thing I've
yeah,
learned from
yeah.
listening to your podcast is that JT has no filter. Like literally
No.
anything can come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And she
Oh,
literally has like gotten better over the progression of the podcast. Like in the beginning, there were so many times where I'd like have to text her when I was editing and be like, "Listen, like you literally can't
Reel her back in.
This is a step too far." So if you listen, this is a restrained version of Justine. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Well, we do have some fun questions for you guys. So, Geneva, I know
Yes.
that you cook. Everybody here should know.
Yes.
She be cooking. She be burning, okay?
She's a master chef. Mhm.
I try.
She's the dream
Yeah,
wife.
pretty much.
For real.
So you have to cook a meal
I'm the nightmare.
for the Obamas.
Yes.
What do you cook? Appetizer, main course, and dessert.
So I've literally been thinking about this, and it's like a real stressful decision. But
Been thinking about this?
yeah. Well, I mean, like, because you guys said that you're gonna ask, and I'm like, man. I mean, I would have to like clarify what's their dietary restrictions,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
I would probably like first course. And Tasha doesn't like cheese, but she's tried this. There's this Ottolenghi, who's this Israeli chef, has this recipe for this garlic tart that's like a shit ton of roasted garlic
wow.
and like balsamic and like puff pastry. It's just amazing. I would make that as a first course. I would make a short rib for the main course with like Brussels sprouts or some kind
short
of like
ribs are the best.
something like that. And dessert, I think I would go. I made this butterscotch pudding recently that was like crack with this salted caramel. I may do that, or if you've ever heard of pavlova,
Yes.
it's like a.
Yes.
Pavlova is like one of the best
my
desserts ever. It's
God.
like, Justine, you've had it because you've been to my parents' house.
Oh
and they
my
make it. It's
God,
like,
it is out of control.
It's like pure crack. It's
Eyes
like
rolled to the
meringue.
back of
it
your
is
head.
the
like-
best.
Yeah,
Oh
it's like
my
a cloud
God.
of meringue with like whipped cream, and you can put anything on it, fruit, whatever, and then another meringue and more whipped cream, and it's like
God.
anybody who tries it is like, this is
No, that
just
does no
crack.
justice. You have to eat it. You could
So
eat the
good.
whole thing. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm always looking around for more, and there's
it's,
never any
it's
more.
so
'cause
good.
everybody
So I
eats
think
it.
that's what I would do.
Nice. That also sounds
be
like it all
nice.
shows very well.
Yeah, and
Plated
Yeah,
very
right.
beautifully.
yeah, it would be good.
Nice.
And God willing, it happens. one
Yeah.
day.
Oh my
Like
God.
that.
Of course.
One day.
It will.
Put it in the universe.
Positive thinking. Yep.
They're
put it out there.
listening.
Yeah.
I just got a text.
JT, how did you get your name? Because my name story is really whack but hilarious. So how did you get your name?
Oh, mine's the opposite. I think my mom just liked it.
Oh,
That's
really?
it. I think that's it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was. I'm a twin. I have a twin, and they thought it was gonna be two girls. They were gonna name them Justine and Jenna, but then it was Justine and Peter. But that's really.
Oh, okay.
That's really.
I like how they just abandoned the J and just went with Peter.
Yeah. Like, later.
My mom has a brother named Peter,
Right.
so that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Now I want to hear your story about Justine, though.
Yeah, what's your name story? I don't
I was baby K for about 2 days. They waited to meet me, and they didn't know what to name me. And they were just watching.
Damn. Jane
Yeah,
I love
was
your parents.
Straight up, I was Jane
Doe.
Doe. And I was 10 pounds in the preemie room because I swallowed some fluid. So I was like, I couldn't even fit in the tub. It was like a lot.
Wow.
It's a rough entry to the world. No name
Yeah,
in the
my
premium
God.
room at 10 pounds.
Nameless child struggling every
Nameless
day.
10-pound child, right? That was me. So
Oh, God.
Wow.
they were watching the Cosby Show one day, day 2.
Oh,
And
yeah.
her name was Justine, and it was the episode where he comes down, Theo, and he's like, Justine, like singing. And they were like, oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Justine.
Oh, I love it. I'm
I
gonna
love
take
that.
that's a good one. Done. Wow. So tell us, you guys are, as we said, pop culture reality show aficionados. What's that
Aficionados,
word?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Losers.
What's one reality show that everyone should be watching right now?
I'd say Love After
I
Lockup,
would too.
right?
Yeah, Love After
Yeah.
Lockup.
Agreed.
It's just, if you really, like, the reason why I love reality TV is, like, to be exposed to, like, weird populations. Like, I think that's why I always loved, like, Jersey Shore, or, like, you know, just, like, really subsects of, like, America
Yeah.
where you're like, what in the hell is this?
People you would normally probably never interact with, but are so curious about their everyday life.
100%. Like, and so Love After Lockup is just, not only is it pure comedy, because these people are such idiots, but it's also, it's just fascinating. We've learned a lot of, like, prison lingo and hustles, and it's good.
And it's new, so it's not very produced, and these people are
Right.
just free. It's just, they're just, it's real, and it's crazy.
good.
They're just nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought 90 Day Fiance was trash. Love After Lockup 100% topped it. I binged all of
Yes.
season 2 in
See?
one day
I
after
told
you
you.
were talking about it. And I was
good.
stressed out the whole day. Like,
Yeah, it does. It is kind of stressful.
Yeah.
so stressful.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
good. That would be the one.
Do you guys have a favorite reality show of all time?
Mine's probably Jersey Shore season 1.
I was gonna say that too. God, we're meant to be
wow.
friends.
Jersey Shore season 1, you said?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think season 1, because like that was when it was just so pure, and they were just talking about hot messes, and like they weren't famous yet, so they were just doing
Right.
dumb shit all the time.
Yeah.
But they also, what I also love about Jersey Shore that I still love is that they're like friends, and that they love each other, and so it's like it's that kind
They're
of balance.
family.
Yeah, they're family. Yeah, I would say Jersey Shore season 1. If
Sunday
you haven't
dinner,
watched the
Sunday
early
dinner.
seasons of Jersey Shore in a while, you have to go
Amazing.
back. They're like
Yeah.
classics.
Like,
So-
Before their faces change.
What's her name? Snooki day 1 got like shit faced and they all hated
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, she almost left. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So what is your favorite classic reality show moment?
I think we may have the same one. I'm gonna see. Mine is Teresa flipping the table, Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Classic.
Prostitution
my God, I didn't think
whore.
about that one. That one is great,
Engaged
though.
16
That one is
times.
great.
Like there's literally nothing better than that. to me.
Classic
It's all
moment.
there.
Mine's a real different. I wasn't
Okay.
even thinking that. Oh my
Okay.
God, that's so.
What's
that probably
yours?
is really good. Mine is so weird. It's from season 1 Survivor
Oh.
when
Oh.
that lady, her name's Susan. I thought she said it to Richard Hatch, but I looked back and she said it to this girl Kelly, that she's like, if you were dying on the side of the road and dying of thirst, I'd let the vultures take you and do whatever they wanted with you. And I was just remember thinking like, holy crap, this is reality TV. Like, here we go. I'm loving this.
Like, what is happening?
That was when you fell in love with
Wow.
reality TV.
I was like, wow.
See, that sums
That
up the
is so-
darkness that's in Justine's mind right there. That's like,
But it was just like this white trash lady came back weeks later and is still holding on, and she just let loose.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
my
funny.
God.
Great.
But Teresa is that is classic. Yeah.
That is a classic. Yeah.
I'm-
I never really got into Survivor, but
neither.
No, me
I know
neither.
there's tons of like classic moments from it, but I just missed
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of it, but at the first couple of seasons, I was into it a little bit.
that. If you guys could be on any reality show, what would it be?
I don't think I'd want to be on any reality show.
What?
But I think, as a participant, I would be on
Yeah.
Top Chef, like as a judge.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
as a judge.
Maybe
Yeah.
Who are you? No, you have to compete.
No? Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah, I guess I would do like some kind of like food cooking competition show, but like I don't ever want to be on reality TV. That's my nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to be on The Amazing Race,
Ooh,
or if they came back with Supermarket Sweep.
Oh,
Okay.
sweep.
Whenever I forget an item, I'm in the grocery store and I think in my head like, oh, this is Supermarket Sweep. You got to find it fast. Justine.
Running around dragging your kids like, oh ass!
Yeah. No, this is when like the whole aisle is full already and I forgot something in my cart and I leave the aisle. I'm that person who runs around the store
Oh,
for
God.
the forgotten item and
My nightmare.
like, hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh my
Keep
god.
checking out. That's good.
Yeah. I forgot the cream cheese.
Yeah, I don't have the temperament for the Amazing Race. Like, I'm not that competitive. I would just give up. I'm like,
Do you guys want to know a fun fact? My brother
yes,
and
I know this.
Yes,
Yeah.
my brother and I submitted a video for Amazing Race.
Crazy.
I'm so
Did
surprised
you and
were
Dorian?
Yeah,
picked.
me too.
Me too. I thought we
Oh
had the
my
perfect
God,
little
why
dynamic.
not?
Like
Yeah.
our whole thing was like brains
Yes.
versus bronze.
Yeah, it
Like
would
I
have been
was
good.
like the smart one, just
I
graduated from
think they
college.
really-
She's
you
like the
gotta-
big
Yeah.
athlete. They didn't
Yeah.
choose us. So pissed.
Yeah, you would have been good. Yeah.
No.
I think you got to
know.
resubmit.
Right?
Yeah, still salty.
He's too old now. He'd be right.
Alright, I'll be dragging his ass. Okay, so tell us a little bit, like, what's your relationship to The Bachelor? Have you guys watched before? Like, what do you know about the show? Did you ever grow up watching it? Like, what do you think?
I have a hate-hate relationship with
Wow.
the show. No, I'm just kidding. I literally remember watching one season, and that was Andrew Firestone's season. I have no idea why. I think I was in high school. Other than that, like I said, it's like the one reality show that I just haven't been able to tolerate. I think it's like the manufactured nature. I do follow, like I'm on like say usmagazine.com or whatever. Like I see a lot of what happens, so like I process it from afar, but I don't engage in it, if that makes sense. That's my relationship.
Oh man, I watched the very first season, I think, and Trista and her Bachelorette, and then I did watch. I remember really compelled about that Melissa Rycroft and he
Oh
when
yeah.
that what's his face picked the other one. He dropped her, picked Molly, and insta-stalked them for a while, and I think I stopped watching with Travis, the guy from The Doctors.
Yes.
Maybe around that types of season, like religiously. But I did watch for a while. I liked Trista, and I liked that first season of The Bachelorette. I think it's interesting to see the girl be the. It seems like it works out better when the girl picks the guy.
Works out way
What do
better.
you guys think?
Because women
Yeah.
are superior to men.
Track record is better.
Yeah.
Tis
Very
true.
simple.
Fun
Tis true.
fact, Natasha and I looked up the posters, the old like advertisements for The Bachelor and The
Oh
Bachelorette.
yeah. Wild.
Highly recommend everybody listening go look up the old advertisements. The one for
Yeah.
Trista, it's her lying down and all of them holding her up, and they're all on her butt, all like crazy. It would
It was
never
like so
fly now.
problematic. It would never.
Oh,
Yeah, it would
God.
never
So
happen now.
problematic.
It shows you the progress we've made as
Yeah.
a
Well,
country.
that's good.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess.
check it out.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
hashtag
good
me
stuff.
too, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's before we get into the recap, we do have a special announcement on next week's episode, which is Fantasy Suites, which is exciting within itself. We will have a special guest, Ashley Spivey.
Ashley Spivey.
will be back on the podcast to help us recap Fantasy Suites. I don't know what the hell is about to go down. Colton and Fantasy Suites, but I'm sure it's going to be juicy, so definitely
Yep.
Makes
tune
me
in for that.
uncomfortable already just thinking about it.
We also say this every week. As always, please rate, review, subscribe. If you like what you hear, give us that little 5 stars. Write us a nice little rating. And for your own convenience, subscribe to us. You can also listen to us on Spotify. Just want to plug that in really quickly. We're listed now apparently under some like Bachelor podcast lists. So I haven't been able to find it yet, but look out for that. We're on Spotify. Holla. We also live tweet every week. If you aren't following us on Twitter, you're truly missing out on a very enhanced Bachelor viewing experience. Our Twitter handle is the number 2 BLK Girls, the number 1 Rose.
And you can email us at the number 2 blackgirls, the number 1 rose@gmail.com. We shout out our emails every week, and we love reading the nice long ones. So email us.
Yes. And hit us up on Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram is lit. I'm just putting that out there.
It is.
It's pretty damn lit.
You have great content. I enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
Oh, thanks.
So please follow us on Instagram, and our handle is the number 2 black girls, number 1 rose. Tag us in your stories, screenshot us, share us with the world, all that good shit. All right, should we dive into the recap? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the episode opens up per usual with a shirtless Colton. He is in the shower. She was done already. First opening scene. She's over it. So we get a little bit of, shower action with Colton. He is talking about how he is scared that some of the women are still not ready. And he's now going
scared.
into hometowns with, some dubious women in the house. Dubious women that he kept around. Let's just put that out there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you could have sent home Caelynn and Cassie is who we're talking about, but okay. First hometown is Caelynn, Miss North Carolina, which was very confusing because she lives in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Is anybody else confused by that?
No, I didn't even catch
Seemed
that.
like a slave owner town.
Yes, it seemed old
The sense I
towny,
got.
old time,
Like,
southern.
I think she lived in like a house that used to be on a plantation.
A plantation-y house? Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
wild town, yeah.
Jesus.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Weird town.
It was very small town, mid-Atlantic. They used to grow tobacco. Like, you know what I mean? I got the same
Yes,
vibe.
100%.
Yeah. But it was weird because she's Miss North Carolina, but she's from Virginia, so that I have many questions, and I'm still waiting for a pageant person to email us. We've been asking all
Yes.
season.
She's got a P.O. box in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right. Right, that's how she represents. So she meets Colton. She calls a taxi, quote unquote, and driving along comes a horse-drawn carriage that picks them up, and they basically just kind of like ride around Fredericksburg for the day. Caelynn says in her confessional, "I do love Colton. We've been through a lot, and I think it's made us so much stronger. I fully believe that he's the one."
It's laughable.
I like how she's like, that's where I got my blood drawn when I was a kid.
Yeah, that was my pediatrician. It's like
The landmarks of Fredericksburg. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Of her life, not even Fredericksburg, just of Caelynn's life.
Right, the milestones. So they stop for ice cream. She does the whole little cliche, like shove the ice cream in his face.
Oh my god.
They finally sit and chat, and
She's a good actress.
he asks, like, who am I gonna meet? And she's like, you're gonna meet a lot of people. So we knew that she was that hometown from the previews that had 55,000 people who were there.
So many people.
Why?
Jeez.
Is that all family? Was that all
I
family?
don't
That was, like,
know.
300
Why
people?
was so many people at your
Yeah.
hometown? Half of these people are not necessary.
That's her kindergarten teacher
So-
there.
right, her old high school gym coach.
Yeah.
Like, why are all these people here?
I don't know. It was too much.
So she tells Colton that because he asked her if he's going to meet her dad, tells her that her biological dad is not in her life, but her stepdad is who raised her. So that's who he's going to meet. So we finally go to Caelynn's home. We are greeted by 85 people who are waiting to greet
So
Colton.
many humans.
Way too many damn people. Her dad, though, I thought he was super sweet.
Yeah, he
was
seemed
very
really
Yeah,
nice.
me too.
Yeah.
He said to her, or he said just in general in his confessional, like, I've learned so much from Caelynn. She's made me a better person. And, given that, he said he's very curious about, like, how genuine Colton is. And pretty much that whole barbecue, did y'all notice the dad was, like, in the cut, just, like, watching Colton like a
yeah.
hawk?
Yes.
Yeah. He was just creeping in the corner.
Creeping in the corner. So eventually they sit for dinner. Colton proposes a toast. Everybody raised their glass of this bright red substance. I was like, is that Kool-Aid? What y'all drinking?
It might have been.
It might have been, but why was it in
might have
stemmed
been.
wine glasses and it was bright red?
That is also.
Oh god, very bizarre. So Caelynn's sister grabs Caelynn for a chat, Justine, what did you think of her sister's makeup?
So,
Oh my God.
So, here's the first thing I thought, though, because I've seen a lot of people say that Caelynn has gotten work done.
Oh.
And now, after seeing her sister, you know she has definitely not gotten work done unless they went to the same doctor and got the same thing, because they look exactly alike. So I was happy about that. Also, her sister was like doing a lot. Her sister had her boobs out. Okay, that was a lot. Her sister had on a crop top with her boobs out and denim shorts. I was like, now Amanda, or what was her name? I forget.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't remember either.
But I was like, girl, you're doing a lot right now with this outfit.
Right.
She was camera ready.
Trying to snag Colton.
Yes.
Like, hey.
Yeah.
The
And
makeup.
The makeup
yeah,
was
the
heavy.
makeup was kind of like, it was heavy, and she seems really young. She must have been like 19, 20.
I thought
so
she was
shouldn't have
older.
had all that makeup on.
Really? I thought she was older than Caelynn.
Oh, she was older than
She
her?
looked older to me.
She just looked like she had too much on. It looked like...
Well, red is not the eye color
Right.
to do for someone that
Yeah.
coloring.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
Not a fan of red
Like,
eyeshadow.
she looked like a psycho. Like,
I don't know what red looks good on anybody.
no, it doesn't. Like, it was like
An
just
alien.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot for daytime at a barbecue. So Caelynn's sister, her one concern is, asking Caelynn whether or not she spoke with Colton about her sexual assault. And Caelynn said that she did, and she feels, comfortable with Colton for XYZ reasons. Her sister didn't seem to buy it. She seemed very skeptical, like, the whole time. Yeah.
Yep.
Rightfully so. Caelynn's mom sits down with Colton, and he, shares that they have both said to each other that they're falling for each other. And Colton, tells the mom how they've gone through a lot. They've gone through some things together over this journey.
That's ridiculous.
Because they had, like, the pageant drama, then she had her, opening up about her sexual assault story, then she had, last week's drama where people were trying to throw her under the bus, saying she wasn't there for the right reasons. So, we've been through a lot. We've come closer together, all that jazz. They're really riding on the fact that, like, over the course of 4 weeks, they've been through, like, the ups and downs of a full
Yeah.
relationship. No.
I don't know why they keep presenting it that way. Like, they keep saying this like this is a real thing, and, like, we all know that this is not real life. And if he had presented it that way, of, like, when we get out of this is how I see
Right.
us I think it would have been more believable. But with this, like, we've been through a lot. You haven't been through nothing.
Right, a month is like...
We've been through paradise
Basically.
together.
Right. Yeah. I love the mom. She said, like, when they sat down, she was like, she left and she didn't even know you. It was like, no
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Still don't know him. Like,
Still don't.
right, and, like, you still don't know him, so, like, deep. Like, I just thought it was, like, that was, like, her starting line. I was like, okay, thank you. We get it. Yeah, she seemed nice, but
very concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So Caelynn then sits with her dad, and he flat out asks her, like, do you want to get married? Because this is, like, she's 23, so for any parent, I'm sure this is, like, what are you trying to do? And she says that she does. And the dad said, but it sounds like you guys can just be friends, though. Like,
That killed me.
I love that.
Killed me. He was like, well, what's the difference? If you get along with him, maybe you make out with him sometimes. What's the difference between your friends?
I love that. He was not buying the romance. He was like, y'all could just
That
kick
was
it,
such
be
a good
friends.
point.
It was.
That was such a good point.
So Caelynn, I think one thing I noticed with Caelynn, when, like, time gets rough, what she does is, like, come in with heavy compliments. So as soon as her dad, like, presented his doubt, she then went on this whole soliloquy about like, how he's been the best stepdad ever. Her biological dad ain't shit. He's been around. Like, just laid it on thick. You notice that, JT?
That was heavy. Yeah.
And it also seemed like the first time she was ever saying that to him.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
Like, they
I know.
never had a meaningful conversation about their relationship until that time, which I thought was weird. Like, the way he took that was, like, the first time she's ever acknowledged that he was his father.
Jeez, I hope that's not the first time she did it. But you're right. He was very emotional, as if he had never heard that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I almost felt bad for him in a way. And then the real dad walks through the door.
God.
The new twist.
crashes the party.
That would have been good.
That's WeTV Bachelor. That's not ABC Bachelor.
They would have
my
looked
God.
at it. I'm sure they dug around
my
and tried to
God,
find the
Geneva
dad.
Bachelor.
They trifling just
Yep,
like
try to
that.
find
I'm
him.
sure they
I'm
would have.
sure they did. Yeah.
Caelyn's dad finally sits with Colton, and he just asks, like, where's your head at? Where's your heart at? What's going on? How do you know that you're the right person for her? Colton admittedly says, I don't know yet. And classic Colton.
Classic.
Can't lie.
He's like too honest at the wrong time.
At the wrong time, my dude. This is not the time to be talking about how you don't know shit. You need to come in confident and strong with this father.
I also loved how he told the father, what I do know is you're an unbelievable person. I'm like, 2 hours ago you didn't know she had a stepdad that wasn't her actual dad. So like,
Oh, shit.
you don't actually know that.
Good point. Good point. So the dad says, like, if this ends in an engagement, like, there can be absolutely no doubt, like, whatsoever. And Colton, who literally 2 seconds ago said he doesn't know about Caelynn, then asks for his permission to marry her. Yeah. So, just makes no damn sense. So the dad pauses,
It's
like,
devilish.
very long pause, and was like, "Are you ready to get married? Like, are you sure that you're ready for this lifetime commitment?" And seems as if he's gonna give him a hard time, and then he basically just gives him permission in the end. So
Yeah, I think he
He's like,
would
yeah,
have gotten
whatever.
3 no's, but this dad was like too nice.
yeah, nice one.
He was on the verge.
And so Caelynn and Colton, they kind of end by, I thought this was strange. They were watching like home videos, but it looked like it was projected on this like giant movie
Yes.
screen in the house. Like, I was like, are y'all on the AMC?
He was like, what is she, 50?
Where y'all at?
I mean, it's only in 1990 that
Those
those videos.
It was so big, so big. So Caelynn and Colton, they head outside. She's walking him out. Caelynn tells him, "I am confident that I am fully in love with you." Big words there.
Such bullshit.
And she says in her confessional, "I'm fully confident that it's me and him at the end." Caelynn, how are you fully confident when there's 3 other girls left?
How? I feel like this was the moment where he was like, nah, she gotta go.
Yeah, yeah.
Think?
Yep.
Came in too hot.
She came in
Something
too
happened.
hot. Especially for a guy like this, you gotta be real delicate. You gotta put him on the delicate cycle, okay? Colton is a delicate flower. You can't just say anything. This is what happened with Demi.
Yeah.
Demi came in there,
hard.
she was like, I have feelings for you. And he was like, you have got to go right now. Like, you have got to leave.
Yeah. It's
That's
true. The
nice.
wording
Okay,
of things
honey.
is important because she said, "I am confident that I am fully in love with you." Like,
Fully in love with
that's a
you.
lot to handle for a dude who like doesn't even know where the hell he is right now and like can't,
Yeah.
doesn't know, can't answer questions.
And thought,
State he's in.
and thought you were lying last week.
Right, was ready to send your ass home, and now you're fully confident that he's the one. And come on, girl.
Yeah,
Doing
no.
a lot. So that was Caelynn. I'm curious, Geneva and Justine, JT, what were your thoughts on Caelynn? You guys don't really know her. You're watching it. Like, what did you perceive from her?
I kind of felt that they didn't really have any kind of vibe. Like, it felt very forced and like artificial to me. So I found it shocking when she said she was like fully in love with him at the end. I was like, what? Like, even the way it seemed just completely like fake to me. So that was the one that I got no vibe from. Like, I didn't feel like he liked her, and I felt like she was really putting on the full court press. And like, I think I felt like he was just, like scared. Like she was too aggressive or something.
I did get a little bit of a forcing it vibe, which is strange.
Yes. Like she was really trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I'd say in the beginning they started off like a really good connection. I was a huge fan, and then
Really strong.
I think maybe last week was the turn of events because her character got brought into question and all that jazz. And
I watched last week. Yeah, I saw that. It seemed
She's
like
too
maybe
young.
doubts were planted in his head, but she meanwhile was like she went the opposite. Like, well, he thinks this, I'm gonna go full court
go all
press.
the way
And
in.
he just was like,
felt a little forced.
Yeah.
All right, next hometown is Hannah G, who I refer to as Big Eyes, 'cause she has some big ass eyes. And her hometown was in Birmingham, Alabama. which
Would you
Worse
go?
than Virginia.
yeah, it was getting deeper
Yeah.
into the South.
Oh my
And I didn't know.
Like, if there was a black bachelor, do you know? Like, I don't know if I would go.
Yeah, I don't. Them parts of the. Yeah, I don't go to them parts.
Yeah.
I think Birmingham is like a little safer than going to like Mississippi.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? There's,
Yikes.
like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
Birmingham at least is like kind of central. Isn't that a college town? Like there's some
Yes.
kind of college
Yeah, it's a
there.
college
Major
town.
city.
Yeah.
So it's like you may be okay.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to
still.
our Alabama listeners.
Shout out, I know.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
Shout out
I
to
feel
you
so
for
bad because we
finding
talk so much
Alabama.
shit about the South and like
Yeah, we do.
accents
We
and
do.
stuff. But love y'all. We just are hella
Love you guys.
Northerners up here.
Yes.
So, anyways, we go to Hannah Hannah G, her hometown.
Yeah.
She does the classic run, jump, hug. She reveals that for their date, for the day, she wants to turn him into a Southern gentleman. And so they're going to be taking an etiquette class.
Such a terrible move. I
It's
just,
so
if
rude.
somebody did that to me on a date, I'd be like, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, not how I want to spend my date with
I'm
you.
out of here.
No,
Especially your hometown.
especially not in the South.
Like, take them around to,
Right.
like, all your little spots and stuff like that. Like, why are you spending your day in Birmingham?
There's got to be some sort of college game or some good food. I know, you know,
I
they
know
got
they got some
food.
good barbecue down there. She could have taken them to
Yeah.
the barbecue
Yeah, yeah.
spot. Instead, they went to an etiquette class. So Colton obviously is scared shitless because he's just terrified of literally everything.
He looked terrified and
Yep,
frightened,
per
like
usual.
a scared child.
So they have this etiquette teacher who's like making him just do dumb shit. Like he had to walk with a book on his head to like practice his posture. And then they do like a whole table manners course. I learned the proper way to eat bread. I
Me
did not know
too.
that was it.
Okay, there were people in our mentions that were like, "That's not how I eat bread. I'm from Alabama, and we don't do it like that."
Oh wow.
I eat bread like it comes in a bread basket, and as quickly as possible, I eat as much as I
Yeah.
can. That's how you
Exactly.
eat bread.
Yeah.
She also dropped the "bless your heart," which in the South is really like kind of the equivalent of like an "fu." Like,
Oh shit.
bless your heart is like you are a complete
Yeah.
disaster. If somebody says that to you in the South, that means like you're
Translation,
complete
you're a
failure.
fucking mess right now.
It's so
Oh
rude.
wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, he learned how to eat bread. You tear off a little nibble, you butter each
Bless
individual
your heart.
piece, which seems like a fucking waste of time, but okay.
And a waste of butter.
A waste of butter.
So much butter. You're having so much butter if you're buttering every
Every
single
nibble.
piece.
Like,
Bite.
Imagine if you went on a date with a guy and you start eating like that.
like seeing that done live and in the flesh is just freaky.
Like,
I wanna
no,
see
you're
that.
weird, dude. I'll
Literally
shove a
like,
roll
alright,
in my
we're
mouth
gonna
and
go.
hit the road. I gotta go.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, yeah, he learns how to eat some bread, and then the lady gave some analogy about how some with an umbrella, Hannah's family's the umbrella.
Yeah, she's been under an umbrella.
And now,
Also, an umbrella doesn't shield you from heavy things. She's like protecting them under an umbrella. It's like if something heavy falls on an umbrella, it's also falling on you. The only thing that protects
Is
you from is
rain.
rain. Like that was a terrible analogy.
it wasn't the greatest.
It's not a shield.
It wasn't the greatest analogy.
Yeah.
If you're with Captain America and he raises a shield over you.
Right. Yeah, you're fine if
Captain
Captain America's protecting you, but not a freaking umbrella.
Oh god. So, time for the nighttime portion. They head to Hannah's parents' home. And she says in her little confessional, you know, like, my parents' approval is a huge factor in me moving forward with Colton. That's all talk in my book. If her dad came out the game and was like, fuck this man, like, she's still gonna get right down and
Oh,
say
yeah,
yes
she'd
to the
still marry him.
proposal. I hate when
Yeah.
they're like, my family's
Oh,
opinion
yeah.
means everything. Like, I'll change my mind if they hate him, and you know damn well they're not gonna do that. So
No.
I've yet to see it.
I'm sure they weren't excited about her going on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I'm sure they were not.
She still went on The Bachelor.
Right.
Right.
So they walk into her house again. 95,000 people are there to greet
So
them.
many people.
The mom, the dad. She had 3 cousins, a best friend, some other people in the background. Just everybody's there. Colton does another toast. He was dressed in his cute little blue button down. Looked like he's going to Sunday school. I love his little outfit. I love the outfit that, you know, when you're meeting the parents, like the outfit that you have to like put on. Got to be like conservative, but also want to show your style. but like ear on conservative.
I guess.
I can eat my bread right.
Right, gotta eat your bread, right? God.
What if he sits down? He's like, God damn it, there isn't bread.
How do I impress them?
I can't eat anything.
So in his little toast, he reminds us that he said from, the first day, Hannah was someone who reminded him of home, which is like, that gives Justine and I PTSD, because last season, Becca constantly talked about Garrett, who we refer to as Garrett Kushner, the Make America Great Again asshole, as reminding her of home. So even just hearing that terminology really just like gives me a pause. So Hannah's mom, who she looks like everybody's school lunch lady to me.
Yeah.
Yes. You know how they say, like, women turn into their mothers?
Yeah, I was like, she wasn't prepared to be on TV. That's what I thought.
Her boobs
You know
are not
who
out.
was prepared? The friend with the Kate Gosselin hair?
Oh,
I don't
I'm
know who
so
that
happy.
was.
Oh,
I literally
Jesus.
wrote my notes. Her cousin looks like Kate from John and Kate + 8.
Yes.
Yeah,
She was fully prepared, had a fresh do. She was ready to go.
Yep.
Fresh do.
She had a little
She was
bang,
great.
like, freshly swooped to the side and little curls in the back or whatever that look is.
Yes.
Lord.
God, the hairstyle. That won't die. People keep
It
bringing
won't.
it back.
Still bringing
I
it
don't
back.
understand.
Oh, God. So Hannah's mom, she's terrified. She's not buying any of this. Hannah sits with her cousins and her best friend,
This was
who
pointless.
they all kind of said they never seen her this emotional about a guy. Weird.
That's because she's 23.
She's
Like,
also very young. Like, she just started dating.
Like,
So
Right.
right.
what other experiences
Freshly
are
out
there
of
to really call
diapers. My
upon?
God.
Freshly out of
Like-
diapers, you're a mess.
Her cousin, Kate from John and Kate, she says, does it scare you, the fact that he's a virgin and fantasy suites are coming up? She just, like,
Oh yeah.
went in with the boom.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, she
I
just.
love that. That would be Justine. She'd be like, so, like,
Yeah,
how do
I
you feel
have to
about
ask.
having
Yeah,
sex?
y'all gonna, throw down or not?
You better tell me what happens. Everything.
So Hannah, she says that, doesn't bother her. It's part of Colton. She's excited, yada, yada, yada. So now Colton's in with the dad. And the dad, same thing. So what's your deal? What's going on here? And Colton does the same spiel, trying to reassure them. And then same thing, asks them for permission. And the dad, he at first is like speechless and is like silent. And says, that blows me away a little bit. Because I think the whole asking for permission thing is just so... there's so many issues with it, but like for the fathers, it puts them in such a bad spot because they're like, I
Yes.
just met you, but at the same time, like I want happiness for my daughter, and I see that she's happy with you, so now I have to like, force myself into giving you permission, but like I don't even fucking know who you are.
Yeah.
It's roulette. It's
And
just
on
one out
top
of
of
4.
all of that, this is a competition.
On top of that, there's 3 other bitches.
So if they
Yeah.
say no, it could affect their daughter's like ranking in this competition for these
Right.
other people.
Oh, shit, that's
which
true.
I'm sure they don't want to do.
Right.
It just feels so antiquated to, like, a month in. Like, I get it if you've been dating, like, a long period of time and you know the family and it's like you want to do the respectful thing and talk to dad, whatever. But it's like, it's 2019. They've known each other a month. Like,
Right.
is that the problem? Not getting permission is the issue with this relationship? Like,
Right.
that's going to be your barrier, not the fact that
The
you've known
make or
each other 30 days? Like,
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Very true. So the dad, same thing. He feigns like he's shocked and like blah blah blah, and then ends up giving permission anyways. So, Hannah sits with her mom. Lunch lady. She's very worried. She doesn't want her daughter to get hurt. She says, which I thought was very telling. She said, Hannah left here a mama's girl and has returned a woman in love.
I saw that.
So precious. So precious yet problematic.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
issues.
I found it to be very problematic.
Because you're like telling the world, like, my daughter is a child. Like,
Right.
all of you back home who has been watching this 23-year-old like play house, like, yes, that exactly is what she is. But now she's like
Yep.
blossomed in the last 30 days through this insecure ass man. Suddenly she's a woman in love.
23 is just so young to get married. like
It is very young.
insanely young
It's
to me.
it's
I was
too
such
young.
an asshole at 23. Like, I didn't know my ass from my face. I just graduated college. I was trying to figure, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you don't know anything about yourself as a
No.
person at 23, especially if you've been living at home or a mama's girl. Like, there's no way. It just seems
Right.
I don't know.
And like we've had many listeners email us who are, you know, young from the South, who are married, and kind of like explain this to us, because we obviously, like, we also don't understand what any of this is.
Yeah, don't get it. Yeah.
And I still don't really buy it, but like I can see like 23-year-old who's like been through life and is like, you know, they're 23 on paper, but they've like lived a life and they're very mature and like they feel ready for marriage or whatever. Hannah G ain't that.
No.
She ain't that. I think she still lives at home. Her mom literally just refers to her as a mama's girl. She ain't that 23-year-old mature who's ready for marriage. Like, I'm not buying that at all. She does say to her mom, you know, I don't just want to be a coin toss, and he's validated this for me. And the mom flat out asks her how. Like, how has he validated this? Hannah's response, you know, doing the little things, accepting who I am, making me feel safe. How do you feel safe?
That's a little thing.
That's
a big thing.
Accepting who you are. You don't get a Trisket for that. You're supposed to accept the woman for who she is. Making you feel safe. How do you feel safe when there are 3 other girls
Three
left?
other girls. That's what I wrote down too. I was like, ow. What kind of safety, like, measurement? Like, what's the measure for safety here?
I don't know.
That he just keeps picking you?
They're just saying buzzwords at this point.
To me, it's like she's reading off a Hallmark card that she found, like, about love.
Yep. She's
Like,
reading.
he makes me feel safe, and you thank me for who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it doesn't seem connected to their actual relationship.
No, it's the Bachelor buzzwords. For sure. So anyways, that was her hometown. Hannah walks Colton out. She drops the I'm falling in love with you. Colton says it back. And so they're in a good spot, we'll say.
Your face
You gotta drop, if you haven't dropped the I love you or the I'm falling in love with you by hometowns, it's a problem.
I love
All
that
these
I'm
girls,
falling
they
in
know if
love
they
with
haven't
you
said it
line.
yet, as they're walking him out, they need to say it.
Yeah, 100%. The I'm falling in love with you is great, too, because it's just like, it feels like such a cop-out. Like, you're just saying it because you're like, well, shit, I gotta say something. So
Yeah, I know.
I'm falling in love with you. It's like, are you?
Because they know they can't say I'm in love with you, because that'd be some fuck shit if they said it and they don't mean it.
Right.
So
Right,
it's
right.
a lighter blow if you're like, I could say I'm falling in love with you. Like, sure, I like
Yeah.
you, so sure, I'm on that
Yeah.
trajectory of falling in love. Okay.
Yeah,
And she's whispering in her dad's ear, "You're still gonna pay my bills, right?" She's only 23 years old.
Sliding over her phone
God,
bill. Like,
My Verizon
I'll-
bill's due in a couple days.
Right.
I better keep that current.
totally. I'll still be on your insurance till 26, right?
Yeah.
that's wild. These girls are still on their parents' insurance.
They are.
100%.
Yep.
Oh wow.
They got years on insurance.
Oh,
years.
God.
Yeah.
Yes. Lord.
Jeez.
So moving on to our third hometown, our homegirl Tayshia.
Finally to the
Happy
West
Black
Coast.
History Month.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still Black History Month, yo.
She's too good to be on this
Yep.
show.
She
Yeah.
ain't got no business
For
being
this particular bachelor, she's like,
here. Way too good for
she's a really good one.
Colton.
She's
yeah.
gorgeous.
So
She's
pretty.
like, her skin, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like her
for
smile, too.
her hometown, they're in Orange County, California. Shout out to
What?
SoCal. You guys are both from Southern California.
Yo, Vicky.
What's the
Justine's
vibe?
from
What?
Justine's from Rochester, New York originally.
Oh.
So,
Did you live in Cali?
I'm from
now?
Yeah, she lives in San
Yeah.
Diego, yeah.
yeah. I'm from
Oh.
Yeah, so Orange County is pretty
Yeah.
white.
What's the vibe? Okay.
Santa Ana is where Disneyland is, so
Oh.
it's not as white as
Oh,
like
that's
Real
where she
Housewives
lives
of
right
Orange
there.
County.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives
Wow.
Santa Ana, so a little more diverse, a lot of Asians, but not like yeah,
Not very.
not like an LA vibe.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tayshia, she welcomes Colton, and she immediately tells him she has a lot of surprises in store for him. And she says, you know, relationships are all about trust. Do you trust me? And he's like, okay, sure. And then she whips out this big red blindfold and blindfolds Colton, which is, of course, his biggest nightmare of all the nightmares that he, all the fears
Yeah.
of his. Because she basically blindfolds him. He doesn't know where they're going, what they're doing. She leads him to the car. She's driving. They don't know where they're going. And they finally pull up, and the surprise is that they're going skydiving.
No one should ever do this to anyone.
No,
Ever.
You can't
illegal.
just surprise people with skydiving.
No, absolutely not.
But to be fair, on their one-on-one date,
He did it to
surprised her
her.
with bungee jumping.
Oh, so you can't do that either. That's
Yeah.
illegal.
Bungee jumping's a little bit safer. I don't know.
Is it?
Bungee jumping is
Where?
I've done bungee jumping and skydiving. Skydiving is
You
100
did?
times easier than bungee jumping.
On like the challenge, for example, when they're like in these like crazy countries where production is just set up the set, like, all right, now you're gonna jump off this cliff. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't know what standards you have for production. Like, I'm not. At least they were in America going skydiving. You know, there's like a standard.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You've done both skydiving and bungee jumping. That's incredible.
I've
My
done both.
God.
I've always said skydiving, anybody can skydive because you were literally dangling off of the instructor. So, like, you feel safe.
Yeah.
He's, like, jumping. It's whatever. Bungee jumping is, like, 100 times scarier because it's all on you to walk to the edge and jump. It was a good time. But, yeah, Tayshia, you can't be rolling up on people talking about we going skydiving.
Yeah, no.
So, particularly
Surprise.
Colton, who's terrified of fucking everything.
Everything.
He looked so terrified. Like, I could see he looked purely afraid. I mean, I guess at least he did it. Like, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Not.
He went up there.
I was
He knew-
proud of
He knew he
him.
couldn't punk out. He could not punk out.
Yeah.
Because
Nope.
Tayshia, even when they're going up in the plane, Colton literally looked terrifying. His face was like so scared. He was shaking.
Yeah.
Tayshia said he was shaking. Tayshia, on the other hand, she looked like she was chilling, which is the same way she looked when they bungee jumped. She looked like she's done all
I feel
this.
like she does this.
I feel like she does this. Like,
Yeah. Like, not only has she done this before, but, like, she does this.
Yeah.
Like,
It's her
like
test.
for her birthday every year. Like,
right. She seems way too comfortable with like height things.
Yeah, because
Almost death
or
dying,
she has
it's
like the
okay.
best poker face in the world because she just ate that. Like she looked
Or that.
completely stone faced. Like she didn't
Yeah.
have a care in the world.
Straight chilling.
How
So-
jumping out of that airplane, I give anybody credit for doing that. That looks so scary.
I think that's the worst part to me. It's like you're standing in a functioning plane going, I'm going to choose to jump out of it.
Out.
That's the piece I don't understand.
The scary
Oh
part
my
is the
God.
jump. Once you're in the air, you're just free falling. You like literally feels like nothing. You're just like moving very fast, and then they pull the thing, and then you're just like soaring. You can do it. I promise you. Everyone can skydive. It is so not as bad as it looks. So they do their skydiving. Colton said, "God, please let me survive this fall. I still have to lose my virginity." He's very sad to die before then. And yeah, he screamed. It was hilarious. He just cracks me up. I personally thought this was although this is not the date that you just spring on somebody, I think it's a smart move for Tayshia because when you share intense moments like this, like first moments or like adrenaline rush things, it brings
Yeah.
you closer to the person, right?
Yeah.
true.
So I think strategically it was like a good move. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Yep.
Fun.
So Tayshia and Colton sit and have a little chat. She drops the "I'm falling in love with you," and Colton, tells her back, after you left my apartment in Colorado, I realized that I was also falling in love with you too. So they got a mutual. Now she talks about taking him home, and she reminds all of us that the last guy that she brought home was actually her ex-husband. So Tayshia was recently married, recently divorced, not that long ago, and now she's bringing home this very scared, like, virgin white man to her black ass dad
puppy.
who was not playing, like,
5,000 cameras.
with a bunch of cameras at that. So, time for nighttime, they head to Tayshia's parents' home, and we meet her mom, Rosario, who was Latina, I'm assuming. I
Yep.
didn't realize that she was a little swirly little girl. So meet her mom, her dad, and her two brothers. Nice, small hometown, exactly what I want to see.
Normal people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediate family only. That's all we need. That's it. So they arrive, they sit for dinner. The dad, expresses that he can't bear to see Tayshia hurt again because he literally just went through this with her in the last 12 months. And Colton says, I wouldn't be able to look you in the eyes if my feelings weren't there. Because I thought it was a nice little, well-crafted response.
Yeah,
Good
and he was
con,
like
man.
looking him in the eyes. Like I felt like he
As he
actually
said it.
maintained eye contact while he said it, which I gave him credit
Yeah, I actually believed him.
for. Yeah.
So Tayshia sits with her mom, and, Tayshia, she says, I've learned so much from my past relationships. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And as she's saying this, like, that's feeling very reassuring for me because of her past, of what she's been through, that Tayshia, of all the women, can be the one to say, like, I know what I want, and, like, I'm ready for this.
Right.
Much
true.
more believable than, like, Hannah and Caelynn, who are just kind of saying they're ready based on, like, I don't even know, unknown factors. But, like, Tayshia's actually basing her readiness off of the fact that she, like, just went through this and it ended terribly, so.
I guess, like, do you judge her, though, if she knows what she wants and Colton is what she wants?
And this is it, right? There is a little bit of judgment there, exactly.
What is the processing happening there? I don't know.
Right.
It's a little weird.
I mean, yeah, you have to look at her a little bit sideways. Like, I know you're ready for this. You've been through it, but, like, this is the guy who you're convinced is the one?
You
Okay,
sure?
Girl.
Yeah,
Sure
right.
about that? But all right. So Colton sits with Tayshia's father. Colton says to her, I'm falling in love with Tayshia. The dad immediately is like, love is a strong word, son.
That was hysterical.
Strong
He went
word.
on that whole monologue. He was like, sometimes words, sometimes we choose them and maybe they're not right. You seem like a smart guy, but maybe your words, you're not choosing them right,
He wanted to talk him out. He wanted to talk him into taking that shit back, like,
So bad.
So yeah, he says, you can't fall back on saying love, like it has to be sincere. And then he questioned him, like, are you having the same conversations with the other girls?
Yes.
Valid question, because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And so the dad asked, how can you fall in love with more than one person? And Colton, I didn't think it could be possible before now. Not very reassuring.
Because you
to a
don't live in
father.
a polyamorous community where, like, you're
Oh, God. And then, the dad says, this is, you can't lead people on. You can't lead anybody on. You need to know kind of like what you're looking for, what you want. And then Colton, his quick response to whenever it's getting, like, pressure is just, can I get her hand in marriage? Like, quickly ask for permission.
Yeah. And he kept
Yeah.
using his Desmond's language back to him. Did you guys notice that? Like, Desmond would say, like, man to man, da-da-da-da. And then Colton was like, well, man to man, can I ask for your Like, he kept-
Psychology.
Yeah.
Mirroring, yeah. That's funny. So Colton asks for permission, and the dad now, Tayshia's dad, he looked just dumbfounded. Like, he was not expecting that at all.
Nope.
And his response cracked me up. He said to Colton, I appreciate you manning up, but I just met you.
so good.
And then he said, straight up, I think you're a good guy, but I want to protect her and her best interest. Appreciate the talk. And that was it. And, like, you could tell Colton was, like, walking away, like gave him the handshake, but was like, was that that
What
was not
happened?
a blessing?
Yeah, like,
I guess I didn't get permission. Get him, like, yeah, nah, bruh, he did not give you the blessing. Keep
But I
moving.
said I'm falling in love with her.
Right, he think
Yeah.
that's it.
I just feel like he had an encounter with a real man and didn't really know what to do. Like, oh, this is like,
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked him.
Yeah.
I think he went in there strong, thinking that he was gonna get, permission from all the dads, but not Tayshia.
I loved it.
I do think that Tayshia and him have the most chemistry, like physical chemistry. Like, he couldn't stop, like, kissing her as they were, like, leaving. Like, I think of all the girls, like, he kept, like, going back to her, like, one more. I was like, oh, wow, look at that. Like, you're actually, like, rather than your weird open-mouthed, non-tongue kissing that you're doing with the other girls.
Oh,
Like, that, I get a sense that, like, he does really like her. Like, at least
Yeah.
from watching this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of the four girls, she's definitely the most well-rounded, well put together, most probably, like, challenging for him, like, in that she, like, challenges him as, like, making him a better, more mature man. So I think he is drawn to that, but I think he also is still being tugged along or being tugged at by the, pretty young things.
The pretty shiny things.
Pretty shiny things.
Man.
So Tayshia, she has a little chat with her dad. Her dad flat out says, "Who is this Colton guy? Like, what is this that we're doing here?"
Wait, they sat down. Did you hear what he first said? He said, "Tayshia, what are you doing?"
I love that.
Yo, I howled after I was like, finally, someone says this.
Oh my God.
Someone's
Tayshia,
shaking
what
their
are you
kid.
doing?
What are you actually doing, girl? What are you doing?
I wasn't supposed to go this far, Tayshia.
Right. You're supposed to go on this little show, come home, in 3 weeks, get a couple Instagram followers, and go about your life. Like, why am I sitting here now in a hometown? What is this? I didn't sign up for all this.
Seriously.
So Tayshia, she says, he's been very upfront with me with what he wants, versus, I guess she's comparing him to her ex-husband versus that guy who would only tell me what I wanted to hear. Which, I mean, that to me made no damn sense because Colton, he hasn't proved anything to you. All you get right now is just what he is saying.
That's the
What
whole
you wanna
batch.
hear.
That's the whole Bachelor. You're just getting words. So he actually is no different from your ex-husband at this point because he hasn't been able to prove his actions because y'all are still in fantasy land. So, okay. Now the dad says, he seems like a nice guy, but I meet a lot of nice guys. How do I know that he's not just telling you what you want to hear? Like, the dad's already, not even buying this. And Tayshia just reassures him, I know this is where I want to be. The dad asks, if he asked you to get married right now, what would you say? And she says to her dad, I would say yes. And I'm actually very confident he's proven to be the light after all of the hurt I've been through. That's a lot. That's a
Abort
whole lot.
mission.
Yeah, how does she know all that?
Oh,
How does she know he's prepared to be the light?
the lights.
Girl,
Colton is not prepared. He ain't ready for all that.
he's literally afraid of Caelynn and Cassie and kept them.
Right.
I
Colton
think
is
he's,
afraid of the dark, probably still. He's already nobody's light. He still sleeps with a nightlight. Girl, bye.
I think he's ready. He's not ready to be the light. He's ready to follow her. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
the appeal,
She
you
would be
said
the
of
lead.
her is she could be a guide through life for him. And I think for her, maybe she feels like that might be safe too, because she could be the dominant one in a relationship, if they made it to the end, but not he's not taking her anywhere. He's
No.
not leading.
He's
anywhere.
not leading at all. You are the light and the everything in this relationship, Tayshia. So just to get used to
You're the
that.
brains. You're the everything.
Right. So the dad, he just kind of hears her out and says, all I can do is go off of your feelings, and I can see that you're generally happy, so I trust you. So now the dad, after sitting with Tayshia and hearing her out, he ends up having a change of heart and tells Colton that he is, willing to give Colton his blessing. So
Let's get married.
I know. I thought he was gonna hold out strong, but yeah, the change.
So did I.
He's just he loves his daughter.
Yeah, he loves her. He trusts her. I think he knows she's
She
been
does
through
look
some
very
mess.
glowing, yeah.
She's been through some mess with her ex-husband, so he's like, if you're really out here and you're saying all these great things, then I guess, I have to trust you. So yeah, Colton, Tayshia walks him out. Yeah, as you said, Geneva, they just were kissing, couldn't stop kissing. And I thought it was a pretty, aside from the dad being tough on him, I thought it was a good hometown. And it really showed their connection and their chemistry probably better than any other couple, any other girls.
Definitely the best one by far.
100%.
Way more normal.
Yeah.
So now we head into our fourth hometown. Good old Cassie.
Oh man.
So we head over to Huntington Beach. So where's that in relation to Orange County?
Huntington Beach is one of the beaches right.
45 minutes north. Maybe?
Yeah,
Or half
close
hour
to LA.
north.
Huntington Beach is closer to LA, so a lot of LA hipsters live in that area.
Okay. So the vibe is kind of LA Hollywoodish.
It's exactly like that whole
All those
family
people,
represents
yeah,
it
the
very
family
well.
was Huntington
Yeah.
Beach at its finest.
Ah, interesting.
The daughter and the mom with their faces.
Yeah. And so Cassie, she meets Colton at the beach. I respect that she did not do the classic run, jump, straddle. Appreciated
I thought
that.
she almost would, but
She did.
stopped at the
She kept her legs straight. She didn't straddle him.
Yep.
Because she hates him, right?
Has anyone ever greeted anyone like that?
No, it's such a bachelor
No.
thing. The run, jump, hug. Who does this? I've never done that with anybody ever.
Me neither. Ever.
Ever.
In my life.
Jesus.
So.
So for their date, they're going surfing, which, surprise, surprise, Colton has never done because he hasn't done fucking anything. I feel like anything date that they go on, it's like, oh my god, I've never done this. Like, where have you been? Like, you're like a grown ass man with money who travels. Like, you haven't
played football his whole life, I guess.
Yeah, he was like stuck in a football training facility until he was 18.
Yeah, like got out and didn't. He's definitely proven himself to be very sheltered. I think that's a huge thing we've learned about Colton.
Oh yeah,
Like by himself. Like no one is actually sheltering you because you have money. So
I'm saying you have the means to do a lot of these things, but you just haven't.
to do a lot.
I read that before the show he never left the country.
Yeah, he never left.
He never left North America.
Wild.
Yeah.
Horrifying and disgusting, but okay. So anyways, they do their surfing. Colton says in his confessional, the biggest question going into today is, where is she at in our relationship? This is where Colton got my Becky of the week, y'all.
Nice.
Right here in this moment with this very damn question.
Nice.
How are you the bachelor and you're not sure about one of the final girls that you have left here? All 4 of those girls, you should know 100% that they're confident in their relationship with you. How are you the lead and you're unsure about how someone feels about you? Why is she still here then?
Yeah.
What is she still doing here?
I mean, she said, I know how I feel, but I want to be sure. And so then she doesn't know how she feels.
So you don't know.
If that's her
These
statement.
23-year-olds. Oh,
No
that is such a 23-year-old statement.
Yeah. This makes no sense. Like, you have someone whose her whole character was like brought into question last week. You ended up sending other girls home over her. And now you're about to go into hometown to ask her dad for permission. All these things when you have no fucking clue how she even feels about you. Like, are you hearing the things that you're saying, Colton? It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
So frustrating. So Colton and Cassie sit and have a little chat. And he says, I know where I'm at. He tells her, like, I'm still trying to figure out where you're at, like, where your feelings are. And she says to him, I know, how I feel, but I want to make sure, and I think you meeting my family will make me more aware of that. So she's relying on the whole, I'll bring you home to my family, see how it goes, and then I'll tell you how I feel. Whole thing. Which we see how that goes, so. Time to meet the family. And we just see it was a whole group of just like screeching blondes. They were just hollering.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So many blondes.
So many blondes with very high-pitched voices. The dad now, Cassie's dad, he's laying back, very skeptical. He was super weirded out by all the affection Colton was showing to Cassie. He was not into it.
He first saw that.
And he says in his little confessional, he's like, I don't know, he seems like a guy. Like,
line of the episode.
When is one of these dads gonna punch a bachelor, I wonder?
Oh, wow.
Cassie's dad got my invite to the cookout.
Okay.
You got mine as well.
Did he?
I love it.
Yep.
For that one line.
Yep.
I mean, his whole scenes were why I invited him, but I just loved that he was just not having it and was not engaging and was not here for it, and it was evident, and it made Colton so uncomfortable. It made me just so happy.
Yeah, it is good. It is really good.
So happy.
And you don't expect that in Huntington Beach too.
No.
In like a fake part of the world.
Right.
Yeah, he was not having it. So Cassie sits and has a little chat with her sister. Now her sister, like the interwebs like dug up, her sister's dating like some actor in Hollywood. She was from.
She was very gorgeous.
From one of those like teen shows.
They both looked like they should be on like a Noxema commercial or like their skin.
The two of them together.
Who are these people? They're
Right?
What plastic surgery are they living at?
Seriously.
God, they all look.
So she sits with her sister. She says to him, he's amazing. He gets me on every level. And the sister flat out asks, like, do you think you know him well enough to like say this? Like, would you say yes if he proposed? And Cassie,
Or more importantly, do you have levels?
Right.
Yeah.
These different what are these levels that you were referring to? Cassie, she admits, she's like, I'm still not there yet, to say yes. But I think we can get there. Yeah, I am falling in love with him. And the sister just like starts breaking down crying. She's just like, I can't believe this is happening. What the fuck is this?
What do you mean?
She's crying. She's like,
always
I
the
should be
reaction
a
I want.
finalist on The Bachelor, not you.
Right. What do you think about this? Is terrifying though. Like if my sister came home and after a month of being on a show and is like, I'm in love with this guy and I want him to get married and like I need you guys all to bless this, and I'm just like, I probably would cry too because I'm like, I don't know who he is. I didn't even get to vet him. Like, what is this? All of this is just terrifying.
You would definitely cry.
100% cry.
You would 100% cry.
You know.
I would change my phone number and never talk to her again.
Damn.
Like, I don't know who you
Excommunicate
are.
your
I'm
sister.
sorry.
You've been watching too much Housewives.
Call me in a decade.
So Colton sits with the mom. The mom says, I see the chemistry between you, but there are other women. Like, what the hell? And Colton, he says, I'm falling in love with her. I can't even put into words. Our connection is so undeniable. Now, for Justine and for JT and Geneva, one thing to know is like Cassie is someone that Colton's been like infatuated with from the beginning. Like as viewers, we don't know shit about her, and she really didn't even like pop up until like 2 episodes ago. But they've always kind of had this like unspeakable like whatever the fuck. He's like been always super super drawn to her. So he spills all this to the mom and also admits to the mom that he doesn't know where Cassie is or doesn't know how she feels. So. Just every time he said this, I'm just like, why is she here? You sent home people who were very sure, and you have this one person who you have no clue how she feels about you, and yet for some reason we're still doing this. So now Cassie sits with her dad. Love the dad. The dad says he's a great guy, but I don't know, I just met him. Like classic guy, like so true. Sure, he seems nice, but like
just
who
facts.
is he? Now Cassie comes in. He's amazing. You notice how she said it so aggressively?
She did. She really...
She's a spoiled brat.
She wasn't a smart enough saleswoman as Caelynn
No.
to like do the reverse psychology on him, but she was definitely trying to hard sell him.
To a dad who's just not buying any of it.
No.
So she says that I'm amazing, or he's amazing, so aggressively. And she just, it's so weird how well we match. And the dad's like, he is meeting 3 other families. Like, just kept dropping in the facts to her. Just like making her like realize how dumb all of this is. And she says, if it is me at the end of this, at least I know that he's explored other women and he knows that for sure I'm the one.
That is such a 23-year-old statement.
We all want that.
So cringy. So
Oh my God,
cringy.
it was so young of her to say. Like,
and that sounded exactly, it reminded me of when guys cheat and when they're like, I needed to step out, so I know that you're the one, Ma.
Yep.
Like, that's exactly her justification. Like, I need him to go be with this other woman so he knows that I'm the one. Like, Cassie, do you hear yourself? You sound really dumb right now.
and you sound like you would let him get away with anything.
Yes.
So the dad asks, can you become engaged? Do you think you can go through this? She says, I don't know yet. And then the dad reiterates again, like, marriage is something you just don't jump into. You need to be sure. And how can you be sure after such a short period of time, Cassie? Like, he's just like saying all the things that fathers across America would say. Now, Cassie, her typical MO, because she was in some drama last week, her typical MO is to get super defensive and just be, like, overly defensive that you're just not even on her side, like, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tears. She goes for tears.
The tears. She says to her dad, oh, my God, I'm not dumb. Like, oh, God, just really showing her age.
Yeah, she sounded like she was gonna, like, I'm going to my room. Like,
get out of my room, Dad, you're ruining my life. Like, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
It did.
And then writing in her journal, like, Dear Diary.
Dad sucks.
My dad is the worst.
Puts her dad in her burn.
The burn book.
Burn book.
Right. So the dad says to her, as what everyone is thinking back home, yes, but you're 23 and you have your whole life ahead of you. Cassie says, you're scaring me. I just don't want you to be mad at me, Dad. She literally was a child in this whole scene.
I couldn't believe it. Oh my god.
When she said that, I was like, oh my god. So the dad in the interview, in his little interview, this is where he got my invite to the cookout. He says, you need more than a couple random dates to fall in love with someone. He just worded it so perfectly. Couldn't have said it any better myself. So the dad sits down with Colton. Same thing, asks, where's your head at? Colton says, I have a very good idea of what life can be like in the end with her. How, we have no idea. And then he asks for permission. Now the dad says, this is a lifetime commitment. This is big. It's forever. And too often it's done without thought. As far as the hand in marriage goes, that would be a premature blessing.
Love it.
Shots fired. No blessing in the end. Ended on a high note.
I also love how he calls it a lifetime commitment and it's big and it's forever, except if you're on the show, and then it can last 3 months after the show and you break up. So it's like
your Us Weekly cover.
Right.
So now Cassie, she's walking Colton out, and they sit and have a little chat outside. And Colton, because remember, Cassie told him, I don't know where I'm at yet, but once I bring you home, I'll get some clarity and, we'll figure it out. So Colton now turns to her and says, where are you at? Which is code for, bitch, I'm going to need you to say you're in love with me right now.
Yeah, right now.
That's what he's pulling at.
Time to say the magic words.
Time to say the words, my girl. And Cassie says to him, I want to be 100% confident in anything I'm going to say to you. And, I'm really excited to see where, we can go. And, I just don't want this to be over. We got no I love you, my friends.
Guys, he's supposed to get down on one knee March 12th. It is February 26th.
He has not gotten the magic words. I don't know.
No.
She's kind of a G, honestly, the way she's just
Yeah.
playing him
She's running this whole thing.
To watch.
She's just like her dad, kind of, right?
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
She is totally running this thing.
And that's
She's in
always the
full
girl,
control.
that the guys want, is the hard to get. She is playing hard to
Oh,
get.
totally. And, she didn't kiss him at the end, right?
No.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
She doesn't
She
like
didn't even kiss him.
kiss
So,
them.
she's really, she's playing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Colton, he packs up into the SUV. He says in his interview, I wanted her to say it so bad. She didn't tell me how she feels. I don't have her father's blessing. He's like, fuck. This, in all intents and purposes, this was a hometown that ended pretty poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good one. Okay, time for the rose ceremony. We got 4 girls, 3 roses. If you get a rose, you're going to Fantasy Suites. All of the ladies looked beautiful. And then Cassie walked up in a white belly shirt and a white long skirt.
That looked like something Kate Hudson and Almost Famous.
Oh, Kate Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
That was the vibe I got from it. Very,
I
she was
hated
trying to
it.
be a hippie. It was weird.
Yeah, that's the vibe she tends to go for. Trying to do the effortless, I just came off the beach, I just got off the pier kind of look, but just looks sloppy to me. I hated that outfit. I'm generally not a fan of 2-piece formal gowns. Unless it's a sari.
No, me neither.
A beautiful Indian sari. Other than that,
Yeah,
I'm not
that
a
is
fan.
pretty.
Wait,
I'm
so
just jealous of her
Vanderpump
youth,
Rules when
that's all.
Sheena got married in the 2-piece crop top.
Hated
wedding dress,
it. No.
You weren't into that? No? It wasn't the look?
Not into it.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Why are you wearing a belly shirt on your wedding day?
I know. In 20
Not a
years,
shock
you're
from
looking at
her,
wedding
but-
photos. God,
Yeah.
terrible.
Time for the rose ceremony. First rose goes to Hannah G. Next rose goes to Tayshia. Now, when Tayshia got the second rose, Cassie and Caelynn, who are 2 peas in the pod, who Justine and I, very much believe that they have a pact or they had some type of truce, alliance, something
I see that
going
vibe,
on.
Yeah.
Because they were in some mess
Because you
last
hear her
last
say
week.
that too, right?
So when Tayshia got the second rose, those two girls looked at each other like in shock. Caelynn literally said shit. And it was like they're looking at each other like, fuck, our truce, our pact is coming to an end. We thought we were going to be the final two, and now one of us is going home. Fuck. So time for the last rose. The last rose got awarded to Cassie. And in that moment, my prediction is she's probably going to win.
Cassie, you think?
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Bitch can't do no wrong.
I know.
He told her he was told last week that she full on was having a conversation talking about she wants to be the next bachelorette and talking all kind of mess. She hasn't said I love you. Her dad clearly don't think he should.
And he still
she
picks her.
Still keeps coming out on top. She still keeps getting roses. I think she might fucking win. She might.
That's so crazy.
Wild.
If she wins, he's the biggest idiot in the world. But he is, so she might win.
He is, yeah, that's the thing.
Everyone just watched him get played out. So yeah, Cassie got the rose. Caelynn is going home. As she hugs Cassie goodbye, she says, "I love you. Goodbye, friend. Get engaged."
Get engaged. That was sketch.
That's very
like
sketchy.
win the game. That's I mean,
Yes.
it's your life.
Yeah.
It's not a game. It's
She's
not
like,
supposed to be a game, right?
Right. Get the prize in the end, bitch. Get that ring. That's what she probably should have said.
What I thought that was very bizarre was like as he was walking her out, he literally didn't say a word to her of explanation. Like she's like, I just like crying, and he's just like holding her while she's crying, and then just puts her in the car. Like he didn't say a word to her. He said nothing to her. Like,
because he didn't know. Yeah, he had no explanation. Because he literally blindsided her.
It's like a mute.
I think. She was
Weird.
blindsided. She said, "I felt like an idiot." She's breaking down crying. He had no explanation for her because he don't even know. He himself doesn't even know why he's keeping Cassie around.
Why? Nope.
It's this unexplainable whatever feeling that he has for her that he just keeps her around. But he himself can't even explain why the fuck Cassie's still here. So he really had no explanation for Caelynn, to be honest.
And he didn't even try. He wasn't even like, it was just, he just like was like, oh, come here. Like, what? So weird.
Do any girls get pissy when they leave? Like, don't touch me. Like, F you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you should, yeah.
Yeah. Because the guy
actually did.
He tries to, like, the guy always tries to, like, walk them hand in hand to the car. There's been a lot of girls who are like, don't touch me. I don't want to hold your hand.
Yeah.
Or a lot of, most people at this point feel blindsided. So a lot of, like, I'm blindsided.
They're in
How come
shock.
you didn't tell me? Yeah.
So, question for you guys. Do you think he's going to lose his virginity next week?
No.
I don't think they're going to show it or tell us.
Well, then
I don't think so either.
We're not watching freaking HBO. I don't think they'll show it.
I wish. Pay-per-view. I'll buy that pay-per-view.
They're not going to, obviously they're not going to show it, but they're not going to tell us. Because even when we did a spin-off, Bachelor Winter Games, there was a girl, Ashley I. She's like a famous girl from Bachelor World who was infamous for being a virgin. And they had this whole build-up. She had her whole like fantasy suites thing with her guy. And in the end, they never told us. They kind of like kept it mum. Like, oh, well, we had a nice night last night. So that we never learned whether they had sex or not. So I don't think they're going to tell us.
He described it, like he said, like in the promo for next week, he was like, and if I do, it's going to be sweet and tender.
Yeah.
And what did he say? He said something like, and amazing for the woman.
Passionate.
And I was like,
yeah, like the best thing she's ever felt.
Yes, that's what he said.
Let me tell you something right here. Let me tell you something here today.
Yes.
That is not going to be the best thing she's ever felt, Colton. That is too high.
I believe that a woman virgin can have a great first sexual experience, but a man virgin who is sleeping with a woman who slept with men is not going to be a pleasurable experience.
No.
There's no way.
He's going to be very anxious.
Yeah.
And insecure and nervous. Like, it's not going to be pleasant for you. And then seeing how, like, lame you are in the moment is probably not going to be the greatest thing she's ever felt, Colton. So let's manage the expectations. Bring it on in.
That's all.
Yeah.
So he's never said he's waiting for marriage. There's no reason why he's a virgin. Okay.
Waiting for the one. So yeah, that was the episode. We did get the little preview. Next week is Fantasy Suites. And is also the episode where Colton jumps the fence, which they've been teasing all season.
All season.
And allegedly it's next week. We still don't know because they keep playing that damn clip every damn episode of him jumping the fence and running away from the cameras. But allegedly it's next week. We also got a little preview of Chris Harrison saying, quote, "Up until now, nobody knew the truth." We got an image of Cassie in the back of an SUV crying as if she's getting sent home. So I don't know what the fuck that's about. Like, does she have an ex-boyfriend that's going to appear? Is she going to send herself home?
Becca.
I think somebody might come. What the hell is Chris Harrison talking about when he said nobody knew the truth? Something's going to be revealed about somebody, and it might be Cassie.
She's a gift.
I might have to watch.
Oh, God. Something big's going to happen. So that's next week, and then Tuesday, we got back-to-back episodes, y'all. Y'all should be happy y'all don't cover The Bachelor, because this is some work.
This is a lot.
We have too many. We watch 9,700 other shows.
That's true.
So
You guys watch
our
everything
card
else.
is full.
Monday's Fantasy Suites. Tuesday's The Woman Tell All. And next week we will have Ashley Spivey on the episode for Fantasy Suites. And that was the episode. Geneva and JT, what do you think? What do you think of The Bachelor?
Yeah. It was painful. Not gonna lie to you. There was something real painful about him, particularly for me. It was difficult. I do have to give my Becky of the week, which was Hannah B rapping at the very end.
Yep. Universal.
Universal.
Oh, I missed it.
Extremely uncomfortable. So, like, my husband has an issue with people who attempt to rap or sing, who are, like, not singers or rappers. Like, I've never seen someone get so visibly uncomfortable. Like, he'll literally be like, change it immediately, like panicking. It's like, I almost feel like he was in a talent show that went left or something. Like, it's like a volatile reaction. And she was so bad, it made me cringe. And the family, the dad giving the beat was like...
That's what got me, was
God,
the family's encouragement
the family
of her.
Yeah.
Like,
the dad was like,
oh yeah, she raps.
Doing the beat and everything.
It was bad.
Very bad.
It was everything that's wrong with white people in one setting. But I'll probably ride this season out now that I've watched 2 episodes. Now it's like I'm there.
Yeah. What is there? There's only 4 more.
Oh
so.
God.
Only 4.
I'm gonna watch the
Only
Fantasy
16
Suites
hours.
and the finale. I'll commit to that.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I'll definitely watch highlights. I want to watch him jump the fence. I want to see what Cassie's up to, why she's crying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A recap.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, guys. Everybody
Thank you,
listening,
guys.
you have to go listen to Escape to Reality. Their podcast is so fucking funny. Can you guys shout out like your social media? Like, how can people find you? What shows are you covering currently?
So we're currently covering Bravo once a week. So we do like all Bravo things in 1 week. So we talk most of the shows. Vanderpump, Beverly Hills. We're really excited for New York to come back because New York's an all-time classic. Housewives. And then we also talk Love After Lockup. So those are our 2 episodes we do a week. And then find us on Twitter at Escape2Pod.
We also, 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, yeah, 90
And
Fiancé.
we're going to do Temptation Island.
Oh, yeah, we might do Temptation Island.
Temptation Island.
Yeah, so it's I guess it's like a reboot of a show that was on in like the early 2000s where they bring couples who are like in relationships to be tested by a bunch of singles like on an island. So also sounds like a recipe for disaster. So
Singles deteriorating relationships.
Yeah, so we're gonna check that out.
Jersey Shore. Some
Jersey Shore.
shows.
Anything.
We really have no life. We watch so much TV.
I know, we really do. Justine watches TV if she drives to work, which is super
I
safe,
do. I watch it when I drive.
Oh my God. I hear that on the podcast. You're like, yeah, we watched it as I was driving. I was like, what? How is she?
I feel like an hour commute,
How?
and I just glance over.
She has a commute, you know. She
I have a
just,
heart
puts
attack
it up
where I'm
in the
almost
background.
braking too fast and slamming
hilarious.
into the... Yeah.
And then we're on, last but not least, we're on Instagram at Escape to Reality Podcast. So find us on all the things, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places.
Great. Well, rate, review, subscribe, everyone. Hit us up on Twitter, email, Facebook, Instagram. Tag us in your story. All that jazz. Check us out on Spotify. Find that Bachelor list that allegedly we're on and go listen to that.
Screenshot that.
Screenshot
if you
that
guys
if that's a
have
thing
it.
and send it to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be back next week for Fantasy Suites with Ashley Spivey. All right, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.